Shalom. How are we doing? Watcher's not here. How exciting! And also, yours it still hasn't identified you. So actually, if it does go up to 1, then the Watcher is here, and I will let you know. But I have officially and thoroughly been mentored. Got that post-mentor feeling in my soul, in my soul chasm, because let's be honest, I probably sold it by accident to some deity in exchange for something. I don't know what exactly I asked for. Watcher, hi Watcher, pleasure to see you today. It's been a real nice chum. I wonder how quick you're going to leave today, unless you don't leave, and then unless that's also Lom. Who knows? Because Lom maybe might actually be watching me right now. I don't know. This is very stressful. If it goes up to 2, I'm going to have a fucking panic attack.
From Instagram, OsisJPG Lom. Did you choose the waiting backdrop? It's fun.
Yes, I did. I found it on Pinterest. I originally wanted it to be a spiral because I don't know, I thought the spiral would be fun. Oh, goodbye, Watcher. Unless that was you leaving, not having me on the screen. I don't know anymore. I don't understand how YouTube works. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, no, I chose it because you would be surprised how difficult it is to get art.
And OsisJPG Lom. That was me setting my split screen.
Ah, very nice. Very nice. Fair enough. I guess I just got to wait until it goes up to 2. That's going to be the real decider when the watch is here. If it ever does, I will let you know by screaming, probably. Anyway, yeah, no, it's very difficult to find art which YouTube will actually allow me to put as my background because it's very specific about.
And OsisJPG Lom. I will fight the Watcher.
I do not doubt that, and I think he would win, probably. Poke it in his little eyeballs. You would definitely win that fight. The Watcher ain't got any muscle mass. It's just got optic nerves. It's very specific about the like the dimensions and shit. And if the image you choose isn't big enough, it's like, no, you can't have it. It won't even let you just put it on and just have a blurry back. It's like, no, it has to be this fucking big. I don't care what anyone says. And I was like, Jesus, okay. So finding a piece of art that would actually fit was surprisingly difficult. But I'm glad you like it. I like it because it's got little eyes on it. And it's got some groovy colors. Oh, right. So, upon my very thorough what's the word mentoring, I am trying to do something with video and it's not letting. Please just there we go. Okay, wonderful. What I was going to do was I was going to just listen to it again, to be honest, but we don't, because to be honest, I wasn't really listening, and it was just because I was so stressed about the time. It was a very dumb decision to try and speed run it. In fact, I will never try and do that shit again. Speed running is for the second time round. I have learned that. If that's absolutely can, but you really didn't miss anything in that one. Did I not? Okay. Let's go from like him being boxed, because that was quite a funny moment, and we'll do it on actual just 1 speed rather than that ungodly speed. I mean, I didn't notice it, but that's just because I'm incredible. My brain is always going way too fast. Let's see. That's because your brain is. Oh my God, I can't believe that. That's so funny. Does that mean I'm not allowed to speak in my own stream? That's a little bit unfortunate. considering no one else can hear you. Unless Siri decides to pipe up again. Right, we'll go from where Salisa decides to... you have to say my name 3 times like I'm Beetlejuice, but honestly, I don't recommend you do that because I may just show up in your wardrobe. And as much as I would love to see you, I kind of need to be here so I can do my work. So we'll just go ahead and decide that I'm unjinxed. My wardrobe kind of smells. It'd be fine. I would be more concerned about how the fuck I'd get home. It has climbing stuff in. I imagine it would, considering you climb a lot. Otherwise, where the fuck are you keeping your climbing stuff? Do you have what's it called? A bag of holding from D&D. You would like D&D. I'm upset because I have friends who also like D&D, but there are no games available. Like they're already all playing too many they're already DMing too many games, so I can't just like casually join them and make nerdy friends, which is a shame, but that's also fine. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. We'll go from Salisa grabbing our boy Mr. Yang, because that's when he says the most unsettling statement of "don't go to sleep," which is such a weird thing to say. I don't know why it's so weird, but it is. Ooh, what did you send me?
I just need to show you my bag of holding, which is that I moved my bed away from the wall, so I have a bag pile that everything didn't fit. I just need to show you my bag of...
That's brilliant. That's actually genius. I love that. That's very ingenious. Very good. If I did that, my mother would kill me, but I think that's fucking brilliant. To be honest, my little satchel is a bag of holding. I can fit far too much food in that tiny bag. It's literally like a oversling, but I've managed to put so much stuff in it, and I'm like, how? You're so small. How have I done this? So that's my bag of holding. But I think yours is better, to be honest. Yours is a bed of holding, which is terrifying because what if you accidentally fall in and then because it's like, you know, you're not meant to enter a bag of holding. I'm getting into the lore too much. Anyway, we are going to go from Salisa grabbing one Mr. Yang and telling him softly, don't go to sleep, because that is very creepy. There are 3 sleeping bags. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. But also there's no air in a bag of holding. So in that regard, you wouldn't. But yes, you would not take full. I'm not that rich. The one I need to take back to work and one was free. I love that. Thank you for clarifying. To be honest, I just thought you enjoyed collecting sleeping bags. My concept of money is so bad that my first thought was, wow, they must really like sleeping bags. Or I wonder if the different bags have different uses.
For a second, I was suddenly afraid he was going to kill me.
Yes.
Instead, he looked me in the eyes.
I think having sleeping bag as a hobby is incredibly philosophical. My hobby, I don't know. What is my hobby? My hobby is talking to myself and you as if I have an entire audience.
One moment before he said very softly, "Don't go to sleep."
He then proceeds to go to sleep.
Meant to be some sort of threat, and gave him a look that tried to tell him I wasn't scared. Of course I was, but either way he didn't seem to notice. He just looked at me and repeated himself. I was understandably nervous after that little encounter, but I live in a ground floor flat in a rather rough area, so I have several locks, a sturdy door, and bars on the window, all of which I triple-checked before turning in that night. Everything
Don't go
seemed
to
be in
sleep.
order,
Proceeds
so
to
I
go
had a
to
few shots
sleep.
of vodka to calm my nerves, and well, I turned in. Looking back on it now, the thing I find hardest to believe is how well I slept. It was a restful night's sleep, and I didn't dream. The pain in my legs was what woke me.
Mm-hmm.
The dull cramp dragged me slowly from unconsciousness, and I tried to shift them into a more comfortable position under the covers.
Okay.
As I tried, I gradually realized that I couldn't. They were pressed right up against a hard surface. My eyes began to flutter open, and I realized that instead of my pillow, my cheek was pressed against something coarse and rigid.
It's a good point.
Something that, when I
Like,
tried
could you
to
just
move,
never sleep again?
greeted me with the needling sharpness of splinters.
Or maybe it's just like you have to
Opening
wait
my
for
eyes didn't do
24
much
hours.
to change what I could see. My hands pressed against unvarnished wood, and I felt a rising panic in the back of my mind. I think deep down I already knew exactly where I was, but I still tried steadily, one at a time, to move every limb and part of my body, hoping desperately that one of them would pass out into open air and reassure me that I wasn't trapped within that small wooden cube. But I could barely move any of them, and it soon became apparent that my prison was, indeed, a sturdy wooden crate.
Man got boxed.
I started to shout for help then. The sound was jarring, the echo muted by the close
We'll have to come up with a version of that for each of the fears. We got get wormed and we got get boxed. I'm very much looking forward to, as we become more aware of what the fears are, encountering more renditions of the get wrecked. In fact, I will probably include them as blacklight writing in the book because I think it's hilarious.
confines of the walls, and my cries seemed incredibly loud to me.
No shit, you're in a
Called out
fucking
again
box.
and again, but nobody came. After a few minutes, I suddenly had the horrid thought that maybe I had been buried alive, and I might have limited air. That shut me up very quickly, and instead I started to listen closely for...
I actually know, and don't ask me why. I mean, you can, but the answer is weird. I actually know how to survive getting buried alive. It's a whole process. And it depends whether or not you've been bound in said thing. First of all, you gotta, because there is limited air because, soil does not have much air in it. And then if you are bound, you want to try and and your hands are like behind you. I can't do it because apparently my spine is too fucking long, but you have to try and like wriggle your hands so they're in front of you. And then you can hang on until they're off. Then you want to get anything relatively like hard. So it could be like a shoe or your hand. That also works. But before you do that, you want to take your shirt off and wrap it around your face like this. Because as with your eyes out, obviously, but glasses won't allow that. Because because essentially you're now going to basically break through the wood. And as you do that, soil's going to cave in and you're going to get soil in everything. And it's going to suck ass. So you want to avoid that because choking will not help. And then essentially you've got to just, once you've made the hole, it's a matter of displacing enough soil and making a big enough hole that you can move out of the coffin. That's how you escape a coffin. I'm sure you feel much better off having... I actually also know how to deal with getting avalanched. And the way I know that is from a TV show called Kika and Bob that I used to watch relentlessly when I was a child. You just need to pee. That will tell you which way's up or down. No. Oh yeah, well yeah, but like if you feel like you can dig your way out, but you don't know like which way's up or down, to avoid digging the wrong way, Yeah, I know, but like if you can, to avoid digging the wrong way, pee, and that way you'll know which way's up or down, because gravity is a wonderful thing. That is true. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but also you'll just die of hypothermia. Hypothermia is a pretty nice way to go, to be honest. I mean, because by the time you actually get round to the dying stage, you're not shivering anymore. Oh, yeah, that's true. How about we don't go hiking in like Everest and get avalanched? Yeah, I think that's probably... Why? Please don't tell me you're going. Please, I don't want you to get avalanche, darling. Please don't do that. I understand that Everest is big and stuff, but please don't do that. This was training for my 2 that I've done, and also skiing. I've never been skiing, funnily enough. Although I don't know if I told you this story. Scotland is more avalanchy because it's less. Yeah, that makes sense. When I was younger, like baby, like I don't know, maybe 5. Skiing was with work, and I was so bad they had to hire another instructor. Oh, darling. Have I found a skill that you're not good at? No, this is blasphemy. I would probably also be really shit at skiing, though, not going to lie. That being said, I can skateboard, so maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know how well I am not what is called a skilled skier. Oh, no. Well, fortunately for you, I don't think I would really want to go skiing, so I doubt that would be a problem. We'll just simply avoid skiing circumstances. I guess skateboarding would... That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the transfer between the skill... Because skateboarding was initially a way for surfers to, get some sort of practice in when they can't actually... Yeah, I can cope without skiing. Good. Skateboarding was actually a method for surfers to practice like surfing and balance and stuff when there weren't any waves, because obviously if you need very certain conditions to do it, well, then it's like you're not going to get a lot of training in. So that was the original reason, and then it kind of devolved from there, which is why you've got like longboards and penny boards and different kinds, because it's essentially different. The original one was the longboard, because that's the one that's most similar to a surfboard, and then when skateboarding became more of its own thing, it different shapes came about, because it was more about creating something that would allow you to do the skills that people can do now with skating. But so yeah. But that being said, I don't think I would be very good at surfing either. What was I saying? I was telling you about when I was like 5 years old and in Greenland. So this is one of the reasons why I genuinely think this is one of the few reasons that I could be convinced that God is real, and he thinks that my life is fucking hilarious. Because I was 5, right? I was a small thing, baby. And Greenland, conveniently, is very fucking cold. Lots of snow all the time. And I thought it would be, apparently, someone lost sight of me and I was missing for like a good hour. And so the entire resort was on like high alert, because oh my fucking God, a child is lost in the snow. We can't find them. oh shit, right? Turns out my unmedicated little ass had somehow managed to find a coach, and I had settled my little silly self onto the coach and was watching a fucking movie whilst an entire resort was desperately trying to locate me in the fucking snow. So that's fun. Incredible. Yes, exactly. That my childhood was filled with quite a few strange experiences like that. I like to call them the tales of Bibby Rose, because Bibby Rose was the nickname I had as a child. Some family friend gave it to me. Funnily enough, the same family friend, when I went to their house, at some point, I removed all the iron bars from the staircase. You know, like the banister of a staircase, some of them have like those iron bars. Well, I had decided that they no longer required said bars and removed them all, put them in a tent, then proceeded to climb up the stairs from the outside. So I was gripping onto the edge and climbing my silly little way up till the second floor. So I was just hanging from quite a relatively decent drop, you know, for a child. I just made my merry little way up the stairs. And
From Instagram, OsisJPG Lom, a sloth emoji.
You did not just say a sloth. It's a sloth, you cretin. Not you, by the way, Siri. Fuck you, Siri. Yes, I wasn't. Yeah, I climbed my way. I don't know how I managed it, because I could definitely not do that now. I feel like if I actually was allowed to do sports that I could enjoy, I would be a much sportier person, because I like climbing shit. I like parkour and like shit like that. I don't like hockey. Fuck hockey. But that was all that schools would do. And so I was like, I hate sports. And I'm now just incredibly unsporty. But I like the idea of being able to climb shit and like hang from things and just be a little devious goblin.
From Instagram, OsisJPG Lom. You can just start bouldering. Noon can stop you and you'd love it.
I might just. Maybe that's what my PhD has in store for me. I'll have a lot of free time. Apparently I get holiday time. I'm doing a PhD, which is crazy. Anyway. I got very distracted from the box that this bastard has been locked in. Yes, PhDs famously full of free time. Well, you say that like a joke, but a lot of it is just like me planning stuff. So I could probably actually have hobbies. But I also might just be in denial. We'll find out.
Any sound of movement. Nothing. You know, it's strange. It took me a long time to make the connection with the crate I had stumbled across in Slace's shipping container.
I'll be honest, Miss Yang,
I was so disorientated by my awakening.
Strike me as the smartest fucking tool in the box.
Took a surprisingly long time to come. Once it did, though, I began to feel rage building. I had the memory of the lid that hadn't been secured, and taking a moment to orientate myself, I began to push up on the wood directly above me. It didn't budge a millimeter.
Fucking bet.
Either it had been nailed down, or someone had placed a heavy weight on top of it. Or both. I started to thrash around at that point, desperate to escape, but this only earned me more splinters. I suppose I was lucky that it was winter. The thick pajamas I slept in, that I was apparently still wearing, protected me from a lot of it.
Not gonna lie, I think that'd be a bit perverted if the fear decided to just strip you down before it put you in the
It was
box.
hot in that tiny cell.
It's a very unnecessary
Close,
addition.
humid heat that caused sweat to trickle gently down my neck and my throat to gradually turn ragged and raw. I
Nice.
could do nothing but sit there, cramped and desperate, and feel that stifling, oppressive heat thrum around me. Everything about it was stifling and oppressive. I have never suffered from claustrophobia before, but it didn't.
You do now.
For a while, I gave in to blind panic, muttering to myself and hyperventilating in shallow, gasping breaths of hot, sticky air.
Yeah, that's it. Feed the
thing
fear,
that
baby
finally
boy.
brought me out of it was the realization that if I'd been breathing so hard and for so long but was still conscious, that must mean there was airflow, and that I wasn't completely buried alive.
Rookie mistake. You
That
never
sudden
realise
moment of
things
relief
that can
ended
assure you
abruptly,
during
though,
fear
when
time.
I swear I felt the box get smaller.
The
It was a
pajama
slight
thing is the
movement,
same
barely a
vibe as
centimetre,
Hang
but
on.
I
is the same vibe as Johnny DeVille has committed every crime except the sexual ones.
That's exactly right. I'm not a pervert. I'm just a fear entity. That probably won't make sense to you. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know how well. Essentially, there was this American senator, and he did something, and someone was like, "That's perverse." And then in an interview, he said, "I'm not a pervert. I'm just Italian." And then I started making the same joke because of a D&D show that I watch, Legends of Adventurous. I highly recommend them. They're very funny. They make very similar renditions of that joke. I'm not a pervert. I'm just a fear entity.
felt it in a jolt of pain along my leg, like the
Oh,
crate
dear.
had decided to punish me for my moment of hope.
Yeah.
After a while, the
How dare
cramps
you
that had
have
been
any
so
kind of
agonizing
relief,
to begin with
you silly bitch.
began to fade in and out.
Fuck do you think this is?
It's not that it stopped hurting, far from it, but it became such a constant pain that I could ignore it for long periods of time before it washed back over me in a wave of screaming muscles.
Yeah, you just got to dissociate,
I
bro.
was in such a window of normality.
I feel like that's the way to
And I
deal with
realised
most
I
of
was
this.
able
Just
to
go to
see
your
my
happy place.
arms.
Just
There was light. It seemed to be seeping through the small gaps in the wood, barely enough to see by normally, but my eyes had grown very accustomed to the dark. It felt like sunlight. I must have been outside, but I had no idea where I might be. Near my head, a slightly larger space between the wooden slats let in a thin beam of sunlight near my head. I shifted, my neck protesting the movement, but for a single moment I felt it on my face. That sunlight, a dream of freedom. Then the box closed the gap with a shudder and squeezed me a bit tighter.
no hope
preparing
for
to
you,
do so.
you little shit.
Still, I knew I was outside, and I knew I had air, so I tried once again to scream for help. I
Mhm.
pleaded. I shouted. I felt my dry lips crack from the force of my screams. I kept going until my voice was nothing but a hoarse whisper,
Mhm.
and then I collapsed back into despair and terror.
Yep.
At 11:56, I realized I could see my watch. I wasn't in the habit of taking it off for bed, and the position I had been forced into left it just about visible in the dim light.
Mhm.
It was surprisingly little comfort, as the hours that had passed by in a hazy blur of pain and fear now ticked by with an awful slowness. Even so, it grounded me, kept me focused on something real.
That's
The
why I like
minutes and
my
hours
watch.
passed, same as they would have outside the box, and this, more than anything, convinced me that I was neither dreaming or mad. At 9:45, the light began to disappear, and I was once again in darkness.
I'm
I
sorry,
slept
put my
then,
little socks on.
fitfully and
You
in
can see
great
them.
pain, and when I woke back up to find myself still trapped there, I cried. Even as I did so, in the back of my mind, I hated myself for wasting what water I might have left in me.
That's kind of pathetic. I'm sorry,
4
Jan.
days I was in there. At least, if the darkness and light really was night and day. I used to be religious, and I tried to pray several times, but the words felt hollow on my dry, desperate lips. I called out to God, then later to the devil, and finally to Salesa himself. None of them answered. I knew that that was where I was going to die, trapped and alone. I wondered if they would ever find me. Was I somewhere where the stench of my rot might bring some poor soul to investigate? Probably not if my screams couldn't be heard, but maybe someone would find me. Maybe they would join me if the box was still hungry.
That
Thoughts like
image
these
itself is
played
terrifying.
endlessly through my mind, round and round like a feverish,
The idea that
thirsty
the box is
carousel.
fucking hungry.
Then all at once it was over. I awoke to hear the sounds of wood shifting above me. I barely had time to register what was happening before frigid, icy air washed over me and the torchlight was shining in my face. I blinked hard as I started to make out two figures above me. One was Salesa, staring at me with an expression of curiosity. The other I didn't know, though I vaguely recognized him as one of the captains that made port here occasionally. Captain Laurel, maybe? Or
Captain
Luca? I don't
Laurel.
really remember.
Captain Laurel. Do I have that anywhere? Captain Laurel? No. Well, hello to you, Mr. Captain Laurel. Time to add you to the book. Yes, I'm a collector, you see. I don't know how to spell Laurel, but I will try my fucking best. Captain Laurel. I've gone with Lorell because that feels right. Captain Laurel?
He looked at me, then over to Salesa, shrugged, and handed him a 20.
Hang
One
on.
was Salesa, staring at me with an expression of curiosity. The other I didn't know, though I vaguely recognized him as one of the captains that made port here occasionally. Captain Laurel, maybe? Or Luca? I don't really remember. He looked at me, then over to Salesa.
Play the thing for one more second. Don't do this. I know, I just did. So it's not Laurel. Luca. I've put all the potential options because clearly he doesn't fucking know either. I'm sorry. I know I stressed you out, doll. I'm very sorry. I haven't done that. I learned from my lesson. So he's either Laurel or Luca. No. What have I done wrong now? What have I done wrong now? Oh no. I'm sorry.
Luca? I don't really remember.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I thought I'd fucked up. I don't know. Is it I don't know. Okay. Well, it could be Lorray or Luca. I don't know. It's spelled so I've got yeah. It normally is in uni houses. They don't really give that many shits, do they? I know him. Oh, fuck. Shit. Luca. Oh shit! Luca! Oh shit! Fucking Luca! Yeah. It's I had it. The funeral and ship diving. It's like that's when So Captain. Yeah. I've caught on now. I actually did have him down already. Would you fucking believe it? I'm so proud of myself. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to scribble it out over here, otherwise I'm gonna confuse myself. Oh, well. Everything's looking up for Rose. Woohoo! So this motherfucker really likes the ocean, it would seem. He seems to be associated with being buried. I don't know if there's like a Lucas. Also, I have it down as Lucas with an S, but he said Luca. I don't know if the S is like fucking silent or some shit. Yeah, it's Lucas. Okay, with a K. Unreliable. All right. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if it's like if it's another family. I need to make I'm gonna make another page temporarily, just like for the family names. Because there's a lot of different families, isn't there? So we got the Key family. That I'm spelling Keay. We've got the Rayner family. Rayner. Fairchild family. Remind me, just because I have only put Michael Crew in here. Crew isn't a family, it's just Michael Crew, yeah? Because I have a lot of names in here, and only rarely have I said the whole family or like multiple. So it's just Crew, like Michael Crew. There's no other crews. Crews, boats. I'm sorry. I really meant. But he prefers Mike. I'll put that in brackets. Mike. There we go. Wonderful. And I'm imagining it's the same for Lucas as well. It's just the one Lucas, or is there a Lucas family? Oh, shit. Well, I'm going to just put it in the families with a question mark then. If you're going to play that fucking game with the eyes, you know. I'm just going to cover all ground. I think it would be really cool to have like a set of pages for each of the families with like a family tree. Because, like, for example, the other day we learned more about the Key family. So we actually learned when she was born and stuff, which I have written here in between notes and drawings. That's a lot of emojis. Coffin, black heart, hole, death. Okay. Is that all? Oh, it is a Lucas family. Yes, it is a family, isn't it? Right? Yes, because they showed up at the funeral. I can't remember if they showed up in the Hearts episodes, but there was also and the diving and yeah. I'm quite impressed with that. You gave me 4 emojis and I actually knew what the fuck you were talking about. I think that's quite impressive. My ability to decrypt is truly knows no bounds. Right. But yeah, I think having a little family tree for them will be really fun. And also it would help with the whole like filling up space, because it's like then I could draw like sketches of them, but like on one page kind of thing. I think the most of the book will be done like when I listen to the show like a second time round. You know what I mean? Because especially if there's some stuff like from the beginning and whatever, it doesn't really matter. I still can't decide about the notes. That was something. So you remember this page. I don't know how I want to write the notes bit. I don't know if I want to like put them in a bubble so they're like separate from the rest, like they're distinct from the rest of it, where it's like these are questions I have, or if I just write them the same as everything else in black pen, or if or some, you know what I mean, like because right now they're in pencil because that's just how I draft shit, but because the idea I have is like what's in the coffin, and then I've put here case number 0160112 because that's the one where the coffin gets opened with Daisy, sorry. And I've also got the question of who are Beacon and Hope deliveries, because this is like when they first show up. Ooh, you know. You're not going to believe this shit. But I have the perfect fucking thing for it, bro. Where's the rest of them? Where's the rest of you guys? I know I put you somewhere. Oh, there you are. The paper is like the perfect fucking color. Like obviously this is a daily plan thing, but I've got I got these, and then okay, I'll show them. So I got this, which could be useful in certain situations. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Thank you. I've got Cornell notes. I got a weekly plan, which might be useful for like if there's like a whole set of events in a week. So it's like day one, this happened and this happened and this happened. I don't know, that might be cool. I got a to-do list. And then finally, I've got graph paper. Oh shit. I got graph paper. And the color goes really nicely. Like it fits the vibe, so I could just take them on. Oh, it's fucking perfect. Look at you coming up with the best ideas. What would I do without you, mate? I've also got this stuff, which is just, I mean, it's just normal paper, but it's a cream color, so it's a bit less stark. Because that's the thing, I didn't want to have like something superb, like, because that would kind of take away from the whole vibe that I'm going for. I know that didn't make any sense at all, but either you'll understand or you won't. The sounds I just made either make sense or they don't. That's a really good idea. I'm definitely going to do that. And then I don't have any like tape that would look nice, but I can just tape them on normally, I suppose. Like that would be fine. I don't have any nice like washi tape or anything, but I could just tape them on. So that is what I'll do. I think, I thought I had one that was just like plain paper. I might have that somewhere. There's a lot of these books are hidden around my house, like strange Easter eggs. I tend to just find them on occasion. They just appear in my life again, and I go, oh, hello. I didn't know I still had you. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what I will do. Oh, hello. Maybe. Honestly, it could be. If there is an entity in my house, I wouldn't know it, and honestly, it would probably be doing me favors because I'm a bit of a hoarder. But yeah, we got options. That is a brilliant idea, though. See, this is why the teamwork makes the dream work, bro. And I didn't even think like I could use these for different things. Oh, that's so good. All right, that's what I will do then. I will use these, and maybe I will buy some, or I could use parcel tape. You know, like the brown parcel tape. Keep with the sort of brown leathery vibe, or I could just use normal clear tape, or I could use glue, I suppose. But glue doesn't really work well on handmade paper, which is what this stuff is. This stuff tends to break apart quite easily. But that is what I will do. I'll do that later. Thank you very much. We still haven't decided. We haven't settled on an idea of how we're going to do the library book, unlike the Leitner books. Or maybe we did, and I can't remember what it was. I'll just look through our chat later. But there we go. Right. I like that all of this came about because of fucking Lucas. Captain Lucas. Right.
Looked at me, and over to Salesa, shrugged, and handed him a £20 note before turning around and walking out of the shipping container, which I saw I was once again inside. Salesa lifted me gently out of the box.
I have till at least episode 4. I'm on episode 66. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I hate to alarm you, doll, but we've passed that boundary. No, you're fine. All right, I'll figure it out. But I'm probably gonna listen to the show a million times anyway, so I got plenty of time. There ain't no rush. You can't rush perfection, and this book will be perfect. It will be so pretty.
Being careful, I noted not to touch the sides. Moving my legs was like walking on knives, but I managed to stumble out, overjoyed at my freedom. I felt Salesa push some papers into my hands. An updated manifest, he told me, and sent me on my way. I spent that day trying to get some life back into my tortured, atrophied muscles and slowly drinking water. I ignored my work completely and ended the day by handing in my notice. Do you know what date was on my letter of resignation? The 19th of January, the day after I had first seen Salesa. My watch no longer matched the clock in the break room. I don't know why the night was so much longer for me, or why it boiled me with the sun in the middle of winter. I must have been drugged. Salesa must have drugged me. It's the only rational explanation. But I know that he didn't. Statement ends.
Wait, so he wasn't only in there for like 4 days? Or Salesa wrote his resignation in advance? Salesa like knew he'd come out traumatized, was like, mate, I'll take that off your fucking shoulders. I'll do it for you, don't worry, mate. Evil box. Yeah, the box, not gonna lie, the box eludes me. Time I very much struggle with time. I was quite impressed when I actually figured out the time frame for Exaltoria.
Another tale of the elusive Mikhail Salesa,
Mm-hmm.
dealing in all sorts of artifacts without any decent safety measures, unless that's the point, of course. And if I'm not mistaken, it would appear he's at least acquainted with Captain Peter Lucas of the Tundra.
Oh, Peter
Whatever
Lucas.
this
I don't have his first name. That's exciting. I will add that as one of the people in the family. We got a Mr. Oh, maybe I should do it in a different pen, a lighter pen perhaps. So I didn't afford myself very much space, which was a bit stupid, but I'm not very forward thinking. Captain Peter Lucas. We've got Mary Kay. We've got Jared Key. I can't be bothered to write the rest. You get the idea.
grand game is, Salesa is definitely involved.
Mm.
I just wish I knew whether he was a player or a pawn, or something else entirely. Surprisingly, it seems comprehensive shipping records are harder for Tim to flirt his way into than police reports, and Sasha has had her own issues with trying to access the electronic records. If there is official documentation of this particular shipment that might verify Mr. Yang's story, we're not able to obtain them. Martin encountered a different problem tracking down Mr. Yang himself. Apparently he's retired now and living with his children, who were surprisingly cooperative in allowing Martin to see him. He's also in the later stages of early onset Alzheimer's disease. He could provide no new useful information, and Martin left after Mr. Yang became acutely distressed at the mention of boxes. All in all, a dead end. If this was the first time Mikhail Salesa had turned up in our files, I would definitely agree with Mr. Yang's own assessment. But by now there are far too many cases to chalk them all up to drugs. Whatever Salesa deals in is, I suspect, infinitely more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
End recording.
Supplement.
Supplement.
Woo!
Gertrude's laptop has been rather interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing along the lines of mymurderer.avi. She didn't keep any sort of diary from what I can see.
Do you know what's so
In
funny
fact,
is
it
that
doesn't
I
look like
said
she kept many documents at all. A few budget spreadsheets and work forms, but I get the feeling she wasn't much of a note taker. The thing that is interesting in the budget spreadsheet is the rather large amount she requested for travel. What's even stranger is that it seems the budget was approved. Her internet history and emails reveal some more pertinent information. It looks like she did do a lot of travel all over the world, far further than the single basement one would expect an archivist to keep to. And in these cases, at least, she kept the receipts and the booking information. Nairobi, Wichita, Budapest, Shanghai,
damn,
the
she's
list goes on. No records as far back as 98, of
well-travelled.
course, but given the pattern, I don't think a trip to Alexandria is at all out of the question. There's also the matter of the products she was ordering. There are several online orders of petrol, lighter fluid, pesticides, and high-powered torches. They are sporadic, but notable in that she did not drive, smoke, or work in pest control. The torches would make sense if it wasn't for the quantities in which she ordered them. She also sent orders for a staggering array of filing tabs, labels, and index markers, all different makes, formats, and systems, most of which I have encountered in various forms around the archives. Given that the doddering old lady image is now dispelled in its entirety, I cannot help but wonder if there is a reason she was keeping the files in disarray. I'm not convinced she would approve of my efforts to organize them. Part of me is tempted to follow her lead and suspend my explorations, but the more I find out about Gertrude, the less I am inclined to trust her. And I am not sure emulating her is the wisest course of action. Especially given the three...
Why do you refuse to trust anyone? She's fucking dead! What's she gonna do? What's she gonna do, John? Explain to me. What threat fucking Gertrude, old lady Gertrude, has to you, very much alive Jonathan Sims? Your paranoia knows no bounds. It's quite impressive.
Of most alarming purchases I found in her history. Gertrude Robinson was trying to buy lighteners. Seeing the account name GR Bookworm 1818 gave me a particularly hollow laugh. Obvious when you're looking for it, I suppose. It looks like she managed to get hold of 3 books. A special printing of The 7 Lamps of Architecture by John Ruskin.
I'm not going to write these down, but interesting. I like that he was like, I think Gertrude was onto something. I don't trust her. What the fuck, man? What did Gertrude do for you to not trust her? You're... Jesus.
A rather dubious copy of The Key of Solomon.
Ooh.
And a 1910 pamphlet simply entitled A Disappearance.
Can't trust someone with a shitty filing system. No, but that's the thing. Her filing system was clearly genius because from the outside, it looked completely disgruntled. But I bet you, somewhere, she's got like a really, like a key almost of like, this is actually what these organizing systems mean. Like if you see a blue tab, it means this. If it's green, it means this. If it, and like blah, blah, blah. And all of the fact that they're all different systems is just to confuse people, to make it like difficult to like follow. But in reality, there is a system. She just didn't want it to be a very clear system, or like she didn't want particular people to be able to follow said system, so it wouldn't be easy to find certain things. That's what I thought when he said that he bought she bought a bunch of different filing systems. That was my assumption, which was because it's also like the whole not using certain terms and stuff like that, so that Elias isn't in the know. It feels like the same energy as that, where it's like from the outside, it just that it would be an explanation. Yeah, exactly. It would be an explanation. I don't know why that statement fills me with uncertainty. That's fine. That's my assumption. I think Gertrude was a fucking genius, but I don't understand. I just like that Jonathan went, but I can't trust her. Why the fuck not, John? What has Gertrude done now? Like, you originally thought she was stupid, and then you thought, oh, she knew. That's my opinion! Oh my god, he is that. I bet you if I was to look up TMA memes, that would definitely be one. It's like, how do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
I am quite sure none of them are in the archives, and they weren't in her flat either. I rather hope she destroyed them, especially as the Key of Solomon is something of an almanac on demonology. But my luck isn't that good. All told, the laptop has given me much cause for concern, and little in the way of hard evidence. The more I learn about Gertrude, the more I respect her, and the more I worry about her motives. Perhaps I've been focusing on the wrong question, and the most important thing isn't who killed her, but why.
Ooh.
And supplemental.
That, I didn't even think of that. Like, why did she need to die? Well, that was one episode. Fun. It's funny how that took an hour when we didn't even listen to it from the start, because we yap so much. Also, it frustrates me to no end that Nasha is not good with computers anymore. Because, like, that was one of Sasha's whole things. Like, she could just hack into literally anywhere she wanted, and it was just, like, fucking insane. She can't do that anymore. Do you know what's funny? Is the other day I was reminded of something that I started doing absolutely ages ago, accidentally in fear of the very thing that is talked about in here. So the whole like, oh, being replaced and no one realizing, right? For some reason that stressed me out as a kid. I was like, oh, I need to have a thing so people know if I go missing, right? Because most of my personality, whilst not exactly typical, is relatively easily replicable. And I thought, I need something really small and niche so that people know if it's me or not. And that is why whenever anyone goes question, I go answer. That is the actual reason. And I wish I was joking about that, but that is when people go, Rose, I have a question. I go, I have an answer. Because for some reason, I'll bear that in mind. Thanks. And funnily enough, I actually stuck with it. I've been doing it for years. Like, and and I don't know why I thought anyone would give enough shits to notice. Because I was doing it in Colleton, but I bet you didn't notice. Like, if someone went question, I'd go answer. No one notices that shit. But for some reason, I was like, that'll save me. Fucking stupid. I mean, if people are aware of it, then that helps. But no one cares enough about it. Now that you've acknowledged it, I don't think they would. Because I don't do it often enough and I don't talk about it often enough. That's one of the things. It's like a weird little that's what it was. I was like, I need to set very distinct habits so that if those habits get disrupted, then it's obvious that it's not me. And for some reason I thought, which, I mean, to be fair, if you were someone who said question a lot, like would go question, what did you mean when you said that? Then I would probably go answer quite often. So you'd probably notice it more if suddenly I stopped. But people don't ask questions people don't necessarily phrase things like that very often, which is also why when people go, I have a question, I then start going, I have an answer. I was like, close enough. But yeah, that's something I do religiously. Because I, for some reason, thought it was important that I have. It doesn't matter. It's just it's like a back and forth thing. If I don't know the answer to what they're asking, then that is a very, no, but I always say that. It's like, question, answer. I don't know why I thought it was important that I developed this habit, but I did. And I remembered why the other day, and it made me laugh because I was like, what the fuck was going through my head as a child to make me think, yeah, that's something I need to do. It's also like how recently I've been like, oh man, I need to be prepared. I need a radio in case, like, you know, electricity goes out. Like, how do I contact people? I'm like, who the fuck? Who else owns a radio? I can be as prepared as I like. It doesn't fucking matter if the rest of society is not prepared like I am. I can have a radio. Great. I now just get to listen to the radio going for the rest of my living days. Like, what is wrong? Like, why do I genuinely think that these things are important? It's like the other day I was like, oh my God, I don't own a compass. Why do I need a compass? Why do I don't hike. I don't walk. I don't use maps. I don't know how to use a map. I kind of do, but not really. So why the fuck would I need a fucking compass? But I was like, oh my God, I don't have a compass. I should probably buy a compass. I don't need a compass. I don't need a radio. I don't need an emergency. Like, I keep seeing these things on TikTok being like, this has like solar panel. It can charge things. It's got a radio in it. It's got an emergency like alarm thing. It's got a really bright flashlight. And I was like, yeah, I need that. For what? What am I preparing for? I have some compi in the apocalypse I can... Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I don't really know. I have a very big rucksack that you can have. I also have this, which has, I'm not sure if I've shown this on here before, but this has two bright luminescent like things on it. In addition to this, I don't know why I have this. Please no more rucksacks. My room will explode. Fair, but do you need a light? I know! Let's open it, shall we? I need to be prepared for the apocalypse. Right. Okay. These come out. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it's got, oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Oh, that's kind of sick. It makes a sign. Oh my god, that's brilliant. Why do I have this? Oh. Why do I have this? Why do I have this? I didn't even buy this, Brandon did, but I have it now. Why do I have this? Ah, well, I can't drive, so that's almost funnier, the fact that I can't drive and I own this. I think that makes it better, actually. I also have a lot of bandages in here. Like, a lot of bandages. Like, I have so much bandage. And whatever the fuck is this? What did you say? Enjoy your triangle, I guess. Yeah, I know, it's a lot of bandages. I will enjoy my triangle. Oh, I got burn dressings. Yeah. Why do I have this? And why is it so fucking sharp? Ow. The fucking metal's hurting me. Ow, stop scratching me! Fuck, how do I break this down? That's a full car. Yeah, I own a car crash kit. God knows why, because I can't drive.
From Instagram, Osis JPG Lom, stuck W the triangle forever now.
I am stuck with the triangle forever now. Get back in there, you wanker. Come on. I'm not playing this game with you today. In you go, buddy. Can you drive? Because you can have the triangle if you want it. Fucking go in, you dickhead.
And Osis JPG Lom, yeah, I drive.
You can have the triangle. You can also have my high vis. Ooh.
And Osis JPG Lom, I do not require a triangle, though thanks a crying with laughter emoji.
How do you know that? You might need it. It might come in handy. Oh, you wank. Just go in. Do I have to put you back in this stupid fucking bag? Oh, shit. My dad's calling me. Oh, my God. Everything. Ah! Everything's happening. Hi.
Hello. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing. I've never seen an emergency pack in my life. What emergency pack? That question eludes
Well,
me.
you know what to do, darling. Put it in the cupboard for a while.
Yeah,
And then
I hid it. I've hidden it I also did that with his posters because I didn't want him to take them. Do you remember? Because I figured out they looked really nice in the frames. I was like, I've got to hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I accidentally unmuted because I normally. Oops. Also, that our phone calls are not streamed onto the internet.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Yeah.
But no, they can't see you. They could only hear you. That's.
Oh, right. Oh, lucky you. Strawberries.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. as you can see, we get very excited about saying goodbye. Mum got very confused when I tried to explain the whole setup with the podcast thing. She was like, so Lom is lot. I got really confused. I was like, no, Mum. And then Keith had to step in. Anyway, I'm back 30 minutes later. That's why these streams are so long, because my mum phones me halfway through them. It doesn't matter when I stream, she always manages to phone me halfway through. It's kind of impressive. Anyway, I can't. We were laughing. We were laughing about my for some reason. Hang on. The setup is you are vibrated into my bones. Oh my god, I wanted to get a pair of those headphones. I actually know the ones you're talking to. Do you know what's really embarrassing? I thought they were hearing aids when I first saw someone wearing them. And I went up to them and I said, oh, what brand are your hearing aids? Because I was just curious. Because I hadn't seen her wear them before. And she went, oh, they're not hearing aids, they're headphones. I went, ah. Keith is now asking me to investigate the price of the Diebel shirt. Weighted marches in military gear, so didn't want hearing stopped. Yeah, not good for public. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, I'm now going to have to try and find that Diebel shirt. Family matching Diebel shirts. Yeah. Well, that requires me to find the Diebel shirt. Oh, well, guess what just came up again? It's like my phone is listening to me. My phone is listening to me. It's like... I know, it really doesn't. It's like, yeah, I'm listening, bitch. The fuck you gonna do about it? It's a Diebel thing. You wouldn't understand. Well, that's my mum satiated. They are really cool. I like the idea of being, because I have really bad hearing, and if I'm listening to music, there is no chance that I'm going to hear anyone. So it'll probably be good for me. But I just can't be bothered to buy headphones. I never got round to it. My headphones are broken, like the in-ear ones that I have, they're broken. Only one ear works. I am curious though, what's a weighted march? Does it like qualify? Because when I hear that something's weighted, I'm thinking of like how much assignments are worth towards my grade. And they're very expensive for what they are. Well, I bet they are, to be honest. They are using pretty cutting edge technology. Mine did that. I just assumed I was. That's I don't have words. I don't know how to respond to that. Oh god.
So the weighted marches were while training for Cambrian. My final load for the actual thing was 40 kilograms, so I had to train.
Oh,
20
literally
miles
weighted. Oh
carrying,
shit.
Heavyweight. So it was just going for a walk with a bunch of weight plates in a rucksack.
Fun. Oh wow. Well, that sounds very fun. Oh. Just walking with weight on my back. Sounds like every single fucking day. Love that. What they should really do is they should give them back. They should make you carry the backpacks of year 7s. You know, year 7s like have the ridiculously sized backpacks filled with absolutely fucking everything, and they're like fucking nuclear bombs when they hit the floor. They're like, doosh. They should just make you carry one of those. It's essentially, nothing is ever heavier than a year 7's backpack. Why am I saying backpack? It's a rucksack. Oof. The American got me for a second there. Whew. We're right though. I warded it off. Okay. Do you know what's funny? I've been streaming for an hour and 46 minutes. We've listened to one episode. Anyway, I wish I could agree for the bit I suffered so much. I bet you did. Your poor shoulders. Me saying that just reminded me. When I first came back from DV, I was like, my shoulders are killing me. Dad, can you give me a massage? My dad went, that won't help. And I went, please. And this man then proceeds to not go into my very tender shoulders. And I swear to God, I lost a vertebrae with how much I away from him. Like, there's now just a vertebrae swimming around in my flesh sack. Because I was like, fucking hell. I was like, you bastard. You could have gone gentle. I meant a gentle massage, you fucking psycho. I think, to be honest, he just didn't want to give me a massage. So he just made sure it hurt, so I didn't want it. Fucking asshole. Okay. Mag 67 is called Burning Desire. Now, if this is not the lustful beginning of the relationship between Martin and John, that's definitely going to happen. I'm going to be quite upset.
Hi, Anush.
Where's my AI ad? I'm getting really upset. What? I missed the AI ad. AI is probably the
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives.
You're damn right it does. This introduces some important concepts.
Episode 67.
I will in advance open the book.
Burning Desire.
The way you said that was rather lustful, Jonathan. Burning Desire. The fuck am I listening to? I see 67 episodes in and we still haven't got rid of that tremendously loud intro. That's fine. We just need to quieten it a little bit. Just a little.
Statement of Jack Barnabas regarding a short-lived courtship with Agnes Montague in the autumn of 2006.
Agnes is in Flame Agnes? Because she wasn't actually... Yes! I knew it! Montague, because I didn't know her last name. I think I said that before somewhere. I'll have to put her on a different... I'm guessing families. She's not family. Agnes Montague. Lovely. Okay. And statement is Mr. Barnabas. I cannot wait because saying Barnabas distributes quite a lot of serotonin into my frontal lobe. Barnabas. Oh, what a brilliant name. Thank you very much for being called Barnabas, Jack. Brief courtship. I like that it's called a courtship. Like you can say relationship, John. It's okay. No one's going to think you're middle class for saying relationship. It's okay. You don't have to say courtship. In the autumn of 2006. Someday I'm going to make like a long ass timeline of this just for my own satisfaction. Because that's the kind of shit that I find fun because I'm very strange.
Statement given March 18th, 2007. Audio recording by Jonathan Sims,
Head Archivist of the Magnus Institute,
London. Statement begins. I knew she wasn't normal. I think that's what a...
Bro! Sorry, I just had a flashback to the start of every single one of my relationships ever. I knew she wasn't normal. Oh my god, what a fucking intro. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, fucking hell. I knew she wasn't normal. Oh, fuck. I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy this episode. Also, my computer sounds like it's about to set off, which is really funny. I'm not going to open the window, though. Fuck the window. What I will do, though, is put on a fan just to help with a little bit of airflow, you know. I quite like having a computer that works. I don't want that to change in the near future. Tell me, does that make it really difficult to hear me? Does it now suddenly sound like you're in a tornado? I will wait patiently. No difference. Brilliant.
Originally drew me to her. I thought she was just like me. Another weirdo cast off from the world.
Oh, you're one of those
There was
ones.
no way I could have known she wasn't human. At least, I don't see how she can have been human, not the way we think of it. But she was so beautiful. She was tall with long, straight auburn hair and these eyes that, when they looked at you, it didn't feel like she was seeing you so much as trapping you. I
Why
never
is that?
understood the phrase, like a deer in the headlights, until she looked me in the eyes for the first time. I don't know, maybe something in my
I'm kind of in love with Agnes now. Wow, man's really selling her.
The instincts I felt when it happened. I should have run, of course. I don't know if you...
They never do. Don't worry about it, Barnabas.
In a room when they write their statements, but I can
Barnabas,
understand
you. So far, only one person has successfully not fucked around and found out. So don't cut yourself short, Barnabas. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
doing so in my case. I'm getting used to people making polite excuses not to look at me. Delia tried to warn me off. Delia Rakanjo had worked in the Canyon Cafe ever since it opened in 1991. And as soon as I headed back into the kitchen after I saw Agnes Montague for the first time, she spotted the look in my eyes and shook her head. She told me she was troubled, that there was something not right about her. I asked for more details, and Delia just shrugged. Said,
Do I need to know Delia? It's not how you spell Dahlia, so it's not Dahlia, it's not Delilah. It's Delia. Never heard that name before. Sounds very American. Delia. Although, Delia. I can see it being a regal name. Okay. Thank you for telling me that, because other than the fact that I really like saying the name Barnabas, already we're 4 minutes in. There's 3 people been mentioned. That's a lot of fucking people. It's almost 1 person per minute. I don't know if you normally leave people alone in the room when they write their statements, but I can understand you doing so in my case. I'm getting used to people making polite excuses not to look at me. The fuck did Agnes do to you, brother? Did she make you ugly? Or do you just, like, not have eyes anymore or some shit like that? Or no nose? Did she make you into Voldemort? Oh, so many options.
That she'd been coming into the cafe ever since it opened. There was something off. At the time, I assumed that she meant Agnes had been coming in ever since she was a child, as she looked about my age. But looking back, I'm not so sure.
Agnes
It wasn't as though it would have made any difference. I was drawn to her in a way I can't even explain. I could never bring myself to say anything or even make a sound when her eyes fell on me. I barely had enough wherewithal to confirm her order, even if it was always the same. A large cup of black coffee with enough room for milk. She never actually put any milk in it. She never even drank it. She'd just take it over and sit there, staring out the window into the street for an hour or so. It wasn't like there was much of a view. Just a normal street.
Sounds like she heard the
Sheffield
person.
City Centre, that's...
I have a strange headcanon for some that I'm going to share for no good reason. I have a feeling that as coffee shops, because obviously if she was there when it was first opened, then they wouldn't have had the same sort of like to-go cups that we do now. They like to-go cups wouldn't have been a thing. And so when to-go cups became a thing, actually this has nothing to do with to-go cups. Why the fuck am I talking about to-go? Anyway, my running theory is she just wanted a reason to look out the window, but realized she went there to just look out the window. They were like, you need to order something. And she was like, what the fuck do I order from a coffee shop? And the person in front of her happened to order a tall black coffee with enough room for milk. And she went, all right, guess that's my order. And now just orders it because it's like, well, the person in front of me said it. And it seems like a decent enough order. They never get it wrong. They never get confused. Seems like a very easy, simple order. Bosh. That's my headcanon.
Not much of a view at all. Still, she'd sit there, staring, alone with her thoughts for about an hour, then stand up and leave. I'd go over to clear away her coffee, and it was always scalding hot. It was such a strange little routine, and I would spend time wondering to myself what she could possibly be thinking about. What was...
Are they a fear entity or are they just autistic? I'm sorry, that's like that. Do my friends hate me or do I just need sleep? Are they a fear entity or are they just autistic? Your question. Because so far, it just sounds very autism coded. Like, as a character, she sounds like a very autistic coded character. You know, maybe she's just got really warm hands that just help keep. I don't fucking know. Could just be. Are they a fear entity? Or are they just autistic? Are they trying to steal your soul? Or they just don't like eye contact? I should make a song. That's fucking brilliant.
her life that every Tuesday at 3 p.m. she came into the same cafe and didn't drink a black coffee. The way she always used to order the coffee, it always sounded like she was enjoying it. The order, I mean. Like the phrase, 1 black coffee with room for milk. Was a delightfully novel thing for her to say.
I will come up with, that is, like, oh. You think the leather feels weird, we just don't like that texture, so we get a softer leather, don't question it. That's how it ends. That's how the song ends. Are you cursed by lightning, or do you just like fractal designs? Are you being cursed by the table, or are you hyperfixated? Honestly, I could come up with these for fucking days. Do their expression. Glad Ruby's just screamed. I'm so glad you find this as funny as I do, because now that it's in my head, I can't see the fear entities as anything other than a group of really weird autistic people. Are you a doppelganger or just badly socially integrated? Are you a doppelganger, or is the human body your special interest? Oh shit! Fuck yeah! That's the thing. I mean, you're not wrong in most cases. Are you lonely, or do you just find social interactions draining? Or do you like small spaces, like coffins, even when it's raining? Oh, fuck. I'm going to see how many of those I can make and then just make them into a little jingle. Honestly, that's going to be stuck in my head now. Are you a fear entity, or are you just autistic? Oh, fuck.
In the year and a bit leading up to my finally talking to her, I only ever saw 2 occasions when she wasn't sitting alone. The first was when another man attempted to chat her up. At least, I assume that's what he was doing. I didn't recognize him, but you can always tell when someone starts a conversation with a motive like that. He walked over and started saying something or other, cocky as anything. Agnes, though I didn't know her name back then, just looked up and met his eyes,
music.
and I could see him start to falter. Sweat began to roll down his forehead, but he kept talking. Then Agnes went to stand up. It was only a very small movement, but the man started as though a gun had gone off, knocking into the table and spilling coffee all over his hand. It had been sat there almost 40 minutes, but I could see his flesh start to redden with burns where the liquid had touched it.
Don't approach people that don't want to be approached!
All eyes were on him. His face went almost the same colour as his burned hand, and he shouted something vague at us about suing us over the temperature, and ran out the door in pain and embarrassment.
Damn right. Honestly, Agnes fully was entitled to doing that.
That was the day I noticed the slight scorch marks on the chair Agnes had been sat on, though at the time I didn't connect the two. The other time was about near the end of October last year. I remember because Dahlia had been ranting at me about how impossible it was to get a decent woman's Halloween costume that didn't, as she put it, show a mile of skin. I was making some weak joke about going as a bedsheet ghost and telling everyone it was sexy because the ghost was technically naked, when I looked over and saw someone else sat at the table with Agnes.
I just came up with another one. And this is only because I happen to also run hot because of all the medication I'm on. It's like, are your insides made of fire, or are you just on sertraline?
She was a short Asian woman with close-cropped hair and a thick, muscular frame. I remember being a bit surprised that she seemed to be just wearing a tank top, given how cold it was starting to get. But it did show off a rather intimidating back tattoo of what looked to be a man wreathed in the fires of hell. I still remember how disconcerting I found that screaming face.
Oh shit! I was so in the thralls of are you a fear entity or autistic that I completely disregarded the fact that another person had been. Oh shit. Okay.
I was making some weak joke about. I remember because Dahlia had been ranting at me about how impossible it was to get a decent woman's Halloween costume that didn't, as she put it, show a mile of skin.
Thank you.
I was making some weak joke about going as a bedsheet ghost
Appreciate
and telling
that,
everyone
honestly.
it was sexy because the ghost was technically naked, when I looked and saw someone else sat at the table with Agnes. She was a short Asian woman with close-cropped hair and a thick, muscular frame. I remember being a bit surprised that she seemed to be just wearing a tank top, given how cold it was starting to get. But it did show off a rather intimidating back tattoo of what looked to be a man wreathed in the fires of hell. I still remember how disconcerting I found that squid.
Fucking hell! That is quite the tattoo. Yeah, you know what? That is rather intimidating. I looked over and saw someone else sat at the table with Agnes. Okay, I thought that he had said their name, but not yet. Short Asian woman, close cropped hair, thick muscular frame. Oh shit. Love me some muscles. Sorry, shut up, Rose. Rose, they're probably trying to kill people. I'm panicking now. Tattoos and muscles. Fuck. Anyway, I'm all over the place. I remember being a bit surprised. She seemed to just be wearing a tank top, even though it was starting to get cold. But it showed off a rather intimidating back tattoo that looked like a man wreathed in the fires of hell. Yeah, a little bit, didn't it? It's muscles, man. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I'm just gonna hide. I'm just gonna hide down here if that's okay. I just really like muscles. I'm all red in the face now. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Take your time. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm fine. I'm definitely not blushing. I don't even know. Oh, okay. I was just trying to find out if she had a name. That was the only reason I listened back or like started saying the script, because I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed the fucking name. Oh, Christ on a bike. Okay. I remember. Okay. Right, yeah. So we just got a description. We definitely got a description. But no name. Okay, fine.
Face, contorting in the agony linked on fire. Weirder than all that, though, was the fact that Agnes appeared to be talking to her, actually saying words that weren't an order for coffee or a thank you. Her voice was soft, and I couldn't make out any of the words. I mean, I know I shouldn't have been trying to listen. I know.
Wait, what? Agnes appeared to be saying words that weren't in order. Was that the fact Agnes appeared to be talking to her, actually saying words that... Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't understand the sentence. Now it makes sense. Dyslexia kicked in. Apparently, I was thirsting so much for imaginary muscles that my dyslexia just went bling.
It's a creepy thing to do, but you don't understand how momentous an occasion this was.
Yeah, it was for
See
you,
this
you little simp.
beautiful woman whose name I didn't know finally talking to another human being. It was incredible. The shorter woman's voice was loud, though, and she made no attempt at subtlety in her conversation.
Sounds like
Talking
me.
about some sort of job, and whether Agnes was going to be able to do it. At first I thought it was a job interview, and then she started talking about Agnes being released from something. Agnes just said something softly and shook her head. She looked
Ooh.
sad, an expression I'd never seen on her face before.
Is Agnes in like a
The woman sighed,
contract?
clearly unhappy with the answer, and stood up to leave.
Like kind of like, you know, the death entities where it was like they make a deal with death, and then they take the death entity, they take the death avatar's place, and then they're only freed when they get some other person to take their place. Is it a bit like that? Like she's like bound to it, but could be, because I assumed, and I may be correct about this, but this is just the assumption I've been, living with in my head, based off of the very little understanding that I have, considering we're only in season 2, was that when you were an avatar of an entity, apparently they're called avatars, you like, that is permanent. Like you can't un-avatar yourself. So like you can, and that's not to say that like you can't meddle with certain fears and not, but like if you're an avatar, you're an avatar, like that's it. That's what I thought. Like you, like, because obviously we got people like Mary Key, who's not really attached to anyone in particular, but she sort of dabbles in them. So she's not really an avatar of any of them, so she can kind of move about or do whatever she wants. So, and I assumed that Agnes was an avatar of some fear entity to do with fire. Fear of fire is very, fair, I guess. So I just kind of assumed that she couldn't leave, but maybe she can. Maybe I'm reading too far into this. Who's to say?
Before she went, she took out a brown paper envelope and handed it over. Said that she'd give it to her now so she didn't forget later. She called it a collection. It looked like the envelope might have been full of money.
Mm-hmm.
Agnes put it in her jacket and returned to staring out the window as her intimidating
It's to say
companion left
indeed.
with a frustrated expression.
I thought that would be your answer.
That was the moment I decided to try and talk to Agnes.
Ooh.
Seeing her interact with someone else, even in such a weird way, unblocked something in my mind.
She's such a simp.
The
He
following
is.
Tuesday, when she came in and ordered her coffee, I asked her name. She looked at me in surprise, and for a second I felt like I'd made a terrible mistake. But then she told me, very matter-of-factly. And then I asked her out on a date.
Oh.
I don't know how it happened. It just tumbled out of my mouth before I could stop it. There was a moment of absolute silence. Like everyone in the place had stopped breathing.
I
though
bet they fucking
nobody
did.
had looked up. Then Agnes's face twisted into something I think was a smile. And she said yes. In a wave of...
Are they not used to navigating human flesh, or do they just not know how to make proper facial expressions? Another age-old autistic or fear entity question. I've been told that a lot of people who, like, how you said my smile was creepy? The only reason I don't smile like that normally is because when I was younger, I taught myself, I found out about these muscles, and I was like, oh, I have to actually include those muscles. I can't just be like, thank you. And because apparently my eyes are too wide to do that and it not be creepy, although it's just as bad. So, but I learned that you gotta include these muscles here. It's also autistic people, the whole yawning thing. Autistic people don't do that. Neither do sociopaths, which is fun. I got a lot of comparisons like that in boarding school. That was teenagers, yes, forever uneducated on basic understandings of the brain. Truly a phenomenal time to be alive. Anyway,
Giddy joy just washed right over me. And
I bet it bloody
she took
did.
her coffee and
Agnes
went
just
to my
said yes to your
table.
date. I'd be fucking
I could
ecstatic.
feel Dahlia staring at me from the kitchen, and I didn't want to turn around because I knew exactly the face she'd been making. I was too happy to let her ruin it with her muttered predictions of disaster. It was only after Agnes had left her undrunk coffee and headed out to wherever she went that I realised we'd never made any actual arrangements. I spent the next day in a funk, kicking myself for having been so stupid.
You should
I
come
had
in the next
Wednesdays
day. You'll
off
be
work, so
fine.
there was plenty of time to mope around the house feeling sorry for myself. About 3 in the afternoon, though, there was a knock on the door. Standing on the other side was Agnes.
Ah.
She was dressed in a dark woolen coat and grey scarf, and had
Aw.
that same sort of smile on her face. She asked if I was ready to go. I was very much not. I asked her to wait a minute as I ran back to my room to put on some deodorant and a clean shirt.
Honestly, he sounds kind of
Was
sweet.
this
Oh,
house
Barnaby,
dangerous?
bless your little soul.
And I just
Bless
kind
your
of
little
loved
cotton
smell.
socks, mate.
Like when you turn on an electric heater for the first time in a while and you get a whiff of all the burning dust.
Do you know, I actually know exactly what that bloody smells like because I have electric heaters. And when I first came to the house, no one had lived here for a while, and it was winter. So I turned it on and I thought that the house was on fucking fire because there was so much dust in the radiators. Oh my God, did they stink. And I genuinely thought that the house was going to explode because bear in mind, I had not had electric radiators before. I'd always had those old-fashioned, like, well, yeah, you know what? She can come round. We both run hot. We'll be good friends. We both don't really understand how to talk to people. We both prepare in advance exactly how we're going to say things in social situations so we don't feel uncomfortable or get caught short. Like making sure that you know exactly how you're going to order your coffee every single fucking time, even if you don't want it, because you know you need to buy one so that you can stay and stare out of the fucking window. We would be pals, buddy chum friends, even amigos. She would be my rotten soldier. Actually, no. Jane is my rotten soldier. What is it with the fucking jokes today? Jesus. I'm really laying them on thick.
In the corner of the
But yeah, I
room,
actually know exactly what that
there had
smells
been
like.
a spider's web this morning. There was just a faint wisp of smoke.
A
It was
spider's web, you
weird,
say.
but I had more important things on my mind. As soon as I was ready, I headed
Starting
out.
to sound like
Out.
Mambo number 5. What? I don't understand that. I probably do. I'm just stupid. Sorry, I was in the middle of writing a sentence, which was who is the short Asian woman with Agnes, and then got very distracted. What is Mambo number 5? Am I being dumb? I probably am, aren't I? Mambo number. The internet is not helping. Apparently, there's a lot of songs called Mambo number 5. Somehow, I don't think you're talking about the song by Lou Bega. That was I mean, maybe you are. That's okay. That's on you to not get basic pop culture for you and all your figures. Oh my god! Sorry, I know. Is it the song that goes a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of da 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 da? In my defense, I didn't know that's what the song was called. When you said all of my Fear Girls, I then got it, which is probably not a good thing. But like in my defense, that is on me. But also in my defense, I've only ever referred to it as the girl song, or like the little bit of a little bit of da 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 da. I understand now. I'm sorry. I'm being very slow right now. In my defense, I've technically been speaking constantly since four, I think. No, longer than that. Since like 2. So I'm
What she wanted to do, and she looked at me like I was stupid. We were going to walk in the park, she said, like it was the only possible thing to do. Of course, I agreed. She
The
was the strangest
standardized
person I'd ever met, but something about it just charmed me.
I bet it did.
So we went down to Bold Hill Park.
She's got that
the nearest
tism
one
riz.
to my flat, and we walked. I did most of the talking, as you might have expected. I don't even remember half the things I said now, just a meaningless babble of thoughts, personal details, anecdotes. I worried I was boring her, but every time I looked over, she had that same expression on, which by then I was pretty sure was a smile. I'd catch her eye and that feeling would flood through me. I still don't know quite how to describe it, but whatever it was powerful. We sat on a bench as the sun went down, watching the sky redden, and Agnes asked me a question. It was the first time she'd said anything more than a few words since we left my flat. She asked me if I had a destiny. I don't need to tell you the question caught me off guard.
I'm not
I
surprised.
don't know if I've given the impression clearly enough yet, being a single guy in my early 30s still working the till at a Sheffield cafe, but I don't really see myself as having much of a destiny. Hell, I'm not even sure I believe in destiny.
That's
I
fair.
certainly don't believe in God, and I feel that's kind of linked. So I told her this. She looked at me with the same sadness I'd seen on her face before. That must
She
be
knows
nice,
too much.
she said.
Oh, wait, no, that's really sad. Oh, that's kind of sad. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Agnes, baby, it's okay.
Several times after that. Each time she'd show up at my door unannounced and tell me what we were going to do. We went to the park.
Sounds kind of
more times,
perfect, to be honest.
Had a meal in an Italian restaurant where she didn't eat anything, and even went to see a film. I remember it was The Prestige, and when I asked her her thoughts on it, she just told me she hadn't been watching. God, she was so bizarre. The last date was November the 23rd, 2006. It was a Thursday, and the chill had really hit. It was too cold to spend an evening in the park, to be honest, but Agnes had decided that's what we had to do, so that's what we did. She never seemed to feel the cold. We'd walked in silence for about an hour, and it had gotten dark. I was about to suggest we leave, as they usually closed the park after nightfall, when I heard Agnes gasp. I turned to see her gripping her chest as though in sudden pain, and she told me we had to go.
Oh dear.
I followed her as she staggered out of the park and over to a phone booth where she made a panicked call. She said something about a tree falling, and that they had to do something. Then she hung up. She leaned on my arm as we walked back to her flat. I'd never been there before, but it was clear she couldn't make it unassisted. The building was old, and the wallpaper of the corridor was a faded green lily pattern, occasionally scarred with a vivid hole burnt into it. As we approached her door, I saw a small group of people gathered around it, waiting. I recognized the woman she had been talking to several weeks before, but the others were strangers to me. They were all dressed in rough work clothes and wore severe expressions. One of them, a big guy with a shaved head, was holding an unlit lantern and speaking to the others in a language that I think was Spanish or Portuguese. Another held a bag that seemed to be full of candles, while a third had a clear plastic container filled with hundreds of tiny spiders. None of them paid me any attention, and I was rapidly feeling like I was falling into something that I really didn't want to. Agnes turned to me and apologized, told me goodbye, and thank you. There was such a sense of finality to it that I felt like my heart stopped.
Hers did as well. Fucking Jesus Christ.
I should have turned around and walked back the way I'd come and accepted that I'd never see her again. Instead, I did the stupidest thing I've ever done. There, caught up in a series of events that I didn't understand but that terrified me, and drowning in emotions that I still can't explain, I asked if I could kiss her. Without warning, she put her hands either side of my head. I realized it was the first time our skin had ever touched, and I could feel the intense, hellish heat that radiated from inside her, but it was too late. She leaned in and kissed me. There are no words to describe the pain.
Oh, that's why
My
he's.
face erupted
That's why
in boiling
people.
agony as I felt my skin start to crack and peel, and the heat washed over me, erasing all thoughts in blistering white. I felt the fat in my cheeks liquefy and bubble as I tried to scream, but my lips wouldn't work. I fell to the floor. The last memory I had before waking up in the hospital was a single tear dropping onto my hand. A tiny, sizzling pang of torment that still somehow managed to cut through. When I awoke 3 days later in the hospital, Agnes was dead.
Oh shit.
The police came and took my statement, but they had already decided it was a suicide, and when I tried to tell them what had happened, they looked at me like I was making it all up. At least, when they could stand to look at me at all. The doctors did their best and repeatedly told me that actually I was very lucky, as whatever fire I had put my face in should by rights have blinded me as well. It wasn't exactly a comfort. I lost almost everything after that. I never had much to begin with, and after I was let go at the cafe, I couldn't afford to keep my home.
You would have
They
loved
didn't even
COVID,
try
Tammy.
to pretend it wasn't because my burned face would scare away customers. I've ended up living with my father again, who has been understanding about the situation, though even he can't bring himself to meet my eye most days. The worst part is, looking back, I'm still not sure what I would have done differently were I to do it all again. Even after everything the police told me about her death and the hand, I don't know if I would have had it in me to resist. I just couldn't avoid being drawn in, like a moth to the flame. Statement ends.
Woo!
From a different perspective.
Holy shit! I completely forgot about the fucking tree. Oh my god. How the fuck is it all? Okay. I get what John means. I can see the shape, but I don't understand it. Right. Somehow, the spiders and the fire are connected. I don't know how. The tree, somehow, I don't know if it was like keeping her alive or if it held like a contract or something. So I remember he chopped down the tree, and then under the tree was the fucking box with the apple in it. And the box with the apple in it was part of what the spider guy used to like finish manipulating them or something before he then, you know. Don't really know how he got into the tree, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Clearly, something about that tree was connected to the fire, because when it got chopped down, it then kind of killed Agnes, who is also connected to the fire. Rip Barnaby's face, though. I mean, fucking hell. He's going to look like Dabby from My Hero Academia. It's just the entire bottom of his face. People always think Dabby looks really attractive, but if he was not an anime character, he would look absolutely horrifying. I mean, the man is made of dead skin and a jawbone that isn't his. He stole the jawbone. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you watch anime. I don't really watch anime. I just really like My Hero Academia. But he's essentially like 50% burn and dead flesh. And most of that is skin that he's stolen from other people, because he doesn't have skin. He basically just stole skin from dead people. So he's covered in this like blue mottled skin. And in the anime style, you know, he looks really cool and like, ooh. And I have watched no anime, but a few people who like to explain, but have a few people who like to explain anime. That's fair. Well, I won't go into huge detail, but basically, My Hero Academia, everyone's born with quirks. Dabby's is that he can make fire, but because of bad genetics, he can't handle the heat of his own fire, and so every time he uses his power, he burns himself. And consequently, and he's a bad guy, by the way. He's like one of the villains. Consequently, he's covered in like burn skin, but a lot of the skin that is sort of purpley blue isn't actually his. He's just stolen it and then stapled it onto himself. I'd be a villain too. Yeah. Also, he lost his bottom jaw in like an accident. So technically, the jawbone that he has is not his, which means he stole a jawbone and several bits of skin. And the entire bottom of his face, so this all the way down to here, and then it kind of cuts off, and then there's more on his body and whatever. All of this is like purple mottled flesh. And in the anime style, looks super badass, very attractive. He's one of the most thirsted after characters, and I can't deny that he is a very attractive man. In the anime style, I need to make that abundantly clear. If someone like Dabby existed in real life, oh my god, it would be horrifying. Because think of what dead, burnt skin looks like, right? That has then been stapled to living skin, potentially not even with medical staples, because I don't know if he would even have access to medical staples. So it's just fucking stationery. This man's being held together by stationery and what cadaver materials. Like, hopes and dreams is what is holding this man together. It would be absolutely horrifying if he existed in real life, because he's just covered in dead flesh. Like, he would stink. He would just smell of decay and cinder. Ooh. So I feel for my boy Barnaby. I mean, shit, she didn't even just kiss his fucking face, like kiss his face, kiss his lips, and then just like have that bit damaged. No, she grabbed that man. His entire face. Oh, the whole, I could feel the fat in my cheeks liquefying. Holy shit, that's so visceral. That is so visceral. What a good description, though. I mean, because that is horrifying if you really think about, like, you don't, like, oh. I'm surprised he doesn't have, like, handprints. But then again, she was probably burning so hot that, like, it just melted all the skins. Like, if it had been a little bit hot, you would have had the burn of the hand. But it just, Jesus. Anyway, I still don't entirely understand the tree, the web, the box with the fucking apple in it, and the fire. I don't know how it's all connected, but I understand that it is. So I'm going to take that as a win, and I will take my passing grade of a B.
On the woman known as Agnes Montague, or Agnes Fielding, depending on who you ask, although hardly a reliable account, steeped as it is in messy obsessions and confusion. Still, if the bald man with the lantern is, as I suspect, Diego Molina, it would indicate a link between his notable obsession with burning and Agnes, who apparently had not inconsiderable abilities.
Wait, hang on, what? Oh, God, am I meant to know who Diego is? Hang on, let me quickly look through the titles, because normally you can see their names without going into them all. Oh! Him! Okay. I'm gonna just share real quick. Yeah. That's Jerry. Is that what we're referring to Jared as? Because there's just too many like Jareds, and we're just gonna refer to. Might be wrong though. I'm just checking real quick because it shouldn't take too long to. Because you can see their names just got scrolling through. He canon prefers Jerry, and we love him. Okay, I will keep that in mind. I will add that to my notes on him, which are sparse but still careful. La 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 la. I just realized that he wasn't the one that made the fucking statement, so of course I'm not going to see his name. Oh my God, what a waste of time. I'm so stupid sometimes. Yeah, no. Okay, so that would make sense. Still, if the bald man with the lantern is, as I suspect, Diego Molina, that would indicate a link between his notable obsession with burning and Agnes, who apparently had not inconsiderable abilities in that area.
I can't help but wonder if Arthur Nolan, the Hive's landlord, was one of the other members of that little group.
Oh!
I do not know if they have a name as such, but given the evidence of organization and the indications of worship, I have started to refer to them in my notes as the Cult of the Lightless Flame.
Ooh.
I believe they may also be connected to the ritual circle found in Scotland.
Page idea, page idea, page idea. Pages for all of the cults with their names. Yeah. Okay, Lightless Flame. Shit and Lightless Flame. Cult of the Lightless. I have to admit, that's a very cool name for a cult. Honestly, I would probably join that cult. I mean, that's a sick name. Can you reverse 30 seconds I was spoken to? Yes, I most certainly can.
Still, if the bald man with the lantern is, as I suspect, Diego Molina, it would indicate a link between his notable obsession with burning and Agnes, who apparently had not inconsiderable abilities in that area. I can't help but wonder if Arthur Nolan, the Hive's landlord, was one of the other members of that little group.
Okay, so...
I do not know if they have a name as such, but given the evidence of organization and the indications of worship, I have started to refer to them in my notes as the Cult of the Lightless Flame. I believe they may also be connected to the ritual circle found in Scotland by Jason North. I've been as yet unable to find any other details on them with the information I have. Most of the information here has already been covered following the account of Agnes's time in Hilltop Road, but Martin has been able to make contact with Mr. Barnabas by email.
Nice.
He's apparently been doing much better in the years since his statement, having received some reasonably successful plastic surgery.
Oh, good job,
He was
buddy.
unable to provide much more information than the above, but upon Martin's asking if
Wow, how weird that John comes up with such a specific sounding name. There's been a lot of names. So, are you talking about Barnabas? Or Martin? My boy Martin, my baby boy. Oh, wait, shit, no, Jason North. Oh. North. That's funny. Oh! I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Cult of the Lightless Flame is a brilliant name for a cult. I mean, but you've said wow at the start of that sentence, and that scares me because that normally means that there's a secret in that message. The Lightless Flame. Lightner? Is it meant to sound like Lightner? I think it sounds like Lightner. Lightless, Lightner. I could see it. Okay. Either I got it perfectly right or I've made too many incorrect suggestions and you've decided to just let the cards fall as they may. Both of which are very justifiable. What was it he said? He said something about the ritual circle in Scotland. I wonder if it's near the safe house, which keeps showing up in the tags of fan fiction that I have now deliberately used as an exclude tag. My exclude tag list is fucking massive and none of it makes sense to me. One of them is location somewhere else. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean somewhere else? What? But it kept showing up and I was like, that feels like something I shouldn't know, so I'm gonna exclude that. It's working wonders. I'm yet to get spoiled as badly as I was when I tried to look up Elias's fucking name. Then again, I don't actually know if I was spoiled. I think it may actually just be a headcanon.
I have never seen Scottish and say. No, you're right. I'm being silly. Just keep gaslighting me, honestly. That's what I'm doing to myself. Every time I potentially see spoilers, I'm like, wow, what a really cool headcanon. It's working quite well. You'd be surprised. Because, yeah, it's working quite well. For example, I kept before Nasha became a thing, I kept seeing Sasha Lives, and I was like, huh. Sorry, that took me a really long time. No, I just got it. I was like, is this another hint? And I was like, it could be petrol, fuel, bulb. And then I thought gas, and then gaslight. And I was like, yes. I'm very, as you can tell, I'm very smart. I'm so bloody intelligent. You know? The cult pages will be really cool as well because there'll be so many links. Like, this is just the notes that I've made on it so far. Cult of the Lightless Flame, Ritual Circle in Scotland with Jason North. Members include Diego Molina, Arthur Nolan, Agnes Montague. Don't know if there was anyone else. Don't think so. And I like it when loads of episodes link together. It makes me very happy. But then I also then get sad if I don't understand why they're linked. But I'm sure I will by the end of it. Jonathan doesn't seem like the guy to leave loose ends.
Agnes had mentioned her childhood at all. He did recall her briefly alluding to being adopted. Tim also got in contact with... He was unable to provide much more information than the above, but upon Martin's asking if Agnes had mentioned her childhood at all, he did recall her briefly alluding to being adopted. Tim also got in contact with Delia Akonjo, who confirmed what we had suspected. The woman known as Agnes Montague had visited the Canyon Cafe for a decade and a half, apparently without aging a day.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm now convinced that this is the same Agnes who grew up in Hilltop Road, though exactly what she is or why she seemed to retain her youth remains a mystery. Like everything else around here. Still, she is dead, as is Diego Molina. I can only hope that prevents them from causing further problems. End recording.
Supplement.
John, there's nothing down there.
No, that's not true. I told you what happened.
You told me you wandered around in the dark for hours at a time shortly after suffering an incredibly traumatic experience.
The girls are fighting!
It's a possibility. The other possibility is there's something very dangerous down there. Neither makes me particularly inclined to unlock it.
So what do you plan to do about it? Send someone else?
We really don't have the budget for that.
So nothing. You're just going to leave it.
For now, I think that's for the best.
Please, Elias, I need to know.
You really think that this will help?
Yes. Yes, it's getting harder and harder to work down there without being sure of what's underneath me.
Do you know what that's fair?
Or find a new archivist.
Oh, good Lord, don't be so dramatic, John. You know how hard it would be to replace you.
I don't. But thank you, I suppose.
I'll have a copy made for you on one
Or find a new archivist. Don't be so dramatic, John. It's like he's arguing with his dad. You know how hard it would be to find another archivist. I don't actually. That was really funny. Sorry.
Be careful. No more impetuous subterranean adventures. Understand?
Of course. Understood.
And for God's sake, get some sleep.
Give me a key. No, please. To be fair, I would also be a little bit unsettled if I didn't know what was underneath me.
I mean, I think that's a very, you know what? That's probably the most reasonable thing that John has asked in like the last 20 episodes. That is very justifiable. I too would want to know what the fuck I'm sitting atop of. Last time, it was fucking worms. Yeah. My new headcanon is he's actually Jonathan's dad. Also, I like the whole we don't have the budget for that reminded me of that meme of Twink Jonah Magnus getting funding for his spooky bitch institutes. Oh fuck. I still stand by what I said. Jonah Magnus is a fucking twink. Okay, there is no chance that man has ever seen the inside of a gym. I don't give a fuck. No one is that interested in spooky shit and is active, okay? Tim is the exception, and I think honestly Tim just is one of those people that's naturally got like fucking abs, you know? That I thought there was going to be more after that, but that's mainly because I saw a really funny animatic. No spoilers, I promise. It was just really funny because it was like, fine, I will make you a key, but be careful, no more subterranean explorations. And then John goes, of course, fine, and then goes, supplemental. I went into the tunnels and I got lost. Hang on, I'll show you. Hopefully I don't get copyright for this. I doubt that I will. Where is it? Oh, for fuck's sake, where are you, mate? Oh. Come on, any bloody time today. Come on. Come on. I feel like I have to show it now, even though it's taken me so long to fucking find it. And I still haven't found it. Oh, there we go. Fucking finally.
I'll have a copy made for you on one condition. Be careful.
Hang
No
on.
more impetuous subterranean.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'll have a copy made for you on one condition. Be careful. No more impetuous subterranean adventures. Understand? Of course.
Supplement. I'm in the tunnels I was exploring and I got lost.
Supplemental. I was in the tunnels I was exploring and I got lost. I don't know where they got the second clip from, but it really does. I've watched that animatic so many times because it just makes me laugh so much.
Condition. Be careful. No more impetuous subterranean adventures. Understand? Of course.
Supplement. I'm in the tunnels I was exploring and I got lost.
Truly brilliant. I will now... Oh, it's now in the Magnus Archives playlist. How nice. Well, a lot is happening, and yet I feel like nothing's happening because I just want to know if my boys are okay. I want to know what's got, you know? Like, I'm learning more, but like, I haven't heard Martin's voice in a while, and I miss him. I miss my baby boy. Oh, fucking hell. It is so hot in my house. Or maybe it's just by my computer. Well, 3 hours, and we got almost 3 hours. And almost an entire box of actually, and I finished the strawberries.
From Instagram, OSISJPG Lom, you should prop finish there and get some food to cope W the imminent heat death.
Yeah, probably. Also, I should probably also do some work because it's now been like many hours since I actually did any work. And I'm tired of talking. I've been talking for so long. I never thought I could get sick of my own voice, and yet here I sit, tired. Oh, lordy lord. It's because my mum always phones me in the middle of these. They wouldn't be this, they wouldn't, I mean, they would still be pretty bloody long because I'm a yapper all the time. But it doesn't help that halfway through I have to mute myself for like 30 minutes while mum goes, "What have you done today?" And I go, "The exact same shit that I did yesterday. But this funny thing happened. Ah ha 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 ha. Very good." That's not what my mum sounds like. Yeah. How's your revision going? I'm sure, I hope the thing that doesn't make much sense is starting to make more sense. Or maybe it's not, and maybe everyone will fail, and then they'll just average it up. That would be ideal. Okay, right. Well, I guess I shall go. Ooh.
From Instagram, OSISJPG Lom. Oh yeah, it's never going to make sense.
Fair enough. Maybe it's like a big joke within physics. Like no one actually knows what it means, but everyone pretends that they do, so that they sound extra smart or something. I wouldn't put it past physicians to do that. Anyway, yeah, okay. I will talk to you later. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.